Hi, I'm the Cracking Squid. Today I'm going to watch this season's anime. I hope you all enjoy it. To start us off, we have the ending to the Quint's journey that I don't think anyone was asking for. To be totally honest, as much as I like the show and as much as I wanted more, I feel especially after having the finale of this show, this really didn't need to release. The show covers some of the chapters of the manga which didn't get adapted for the main show, because everyone was crying out for the Itsuki pool scene to get adapted. And yeah, that's basically the whole premise. I enjoyed the animation of the show, especially the eyes, they look so nice. And they also made a new opening. Cool. With that said, not much can be said. It's exactly what it advertises, more manga adapted to the screen and not much else. 8 out of 10. So like, saying everything in Japanese was a fun bit, but I can't be bothered to use a combination of my own knowledge and translate for the rest, so please excuse the average English announcements and enjoy what we have next to show. Well, again, a spin-off of a pre-existing series, Horimiya Piece looks to tell a more slice-of-life plot compared to the romance that the main series displayed. It's nice seeing all the characters again, with all the dynamics still intact. Not too much happens story-wise, besides Hori getting a haircut that looks decently similar to mine. Anyway, I think the show does a good job of moving through the plot enough without necessarily changing the relationships in the way that the main season did. I do applaud the effort, but it definitely would have done itself some favors to be a full sequel to the show rather than just a side series. Though, with that said, with the world that's been created, the show was still a treat to watch and a fun time for me personally. Looking at the most prominent characters, Hori is still her usual sweet self, under her hard shell, and Miyamura still doesn't put himself in the spotlight, seen with him and the school council president avoiding the now mandatory swimming sessions due to his, in Japan especially, rebellious tattoos. The situation also showing how the show is capable and willing to show us the inner monologues and deeper character traits of the whole cast, not just the two headline characters. It provides a different view to other slice of life and romance shows, and because of that, it definitely stands out from the crowd, 9 out of 10. A tantalizing sequel to this popular show. Just f*** already. So, Rent a Girlfriend Season 3 covers more of my favorite rage-inducing show, still following Kazuya and his complex love life. The plot this time follows what was hinted at in the last 2 minutes of Season 2, making a movie, where Kazuya is the director and Chizuru is the lead actress. Kazuya initially looking for ways to find funds to make the movie, then actually making it, with a premiere for the movie set, but the season cuts off before the screening. Character-wise, Mami-san is still a bitch, Ruka still infuriates me, Chizuru is still best girl, and oh wait, we might actually have a contender for new best girl? Yaimori. Yaimori is a complete weeb and a YouTuber and streamer. Relatable. She has an inherent interest in Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship, as everyone who enjoys watching does, and looks to finally get them to end the series' biggest lie, that Kazuya and Chizuru aren't dating. I don't know about you, but I don't think I would come in as a rookie director and set up a GoFundMe for funds just for someone else's stream without some sort of strong involvement with them. Just saying. Back to Yaimori though, she also interrupts some situations just to put Kazuya and Chizuru together, say the train trip to who knows where. This does add more to the show, but I can't help but feel like we are reaching a practical limit to the show, where not much more can be added to puff out the runtime, before the inevitable ending. It just feels to me like the plot has run for long enough, and at most I hope there is only 1 or 2 more seasons left in the show, though I'm not convinced that it will be that short. 8 out of 10. Also, QR code? Liar? A show about my friends. Liar feels like a bit of an outlier to the shows. Everything on the list has a purpose to why I watched it, with a lot of sequels and side series, but beyond those, the Vending Machine anime has gained a lot of notoriety, and Ayaka I found due to a VA doing work on the show, but this just kinda happened. Liar follows Shinohara Hiroto, who is in his first day of school and gets lost running into the so-called princess, Sayonji Surasa. Sayonji, challenging Shinohara to a game, somehow loses to someone with no experience, where Sayonji then thinks Shinohara is here to take over the whole school. Now, Shinohara starts off with a slow brain and has no idea what's going on, but by episode 2 he's aiming to be top of the school, colluding with a few people to make the lies appear to be true as to not damage anyone's reputation and achieve the ultimate goal. The show looks to incorporate the ideas of a school setting of something like Classroom of the Elite, where the school is an tense, unforgiving environment, though the games played and the way in which contests are initiated, by requesting each other, reminds me of No Game No Life, if nothing else. I like the characters a lot, with implied relations but never letting any romance plot take center stage. I also like the games they picked, with a selection only limited by imagination. Games such as the room guessing game and the card game they play are fairly unique compared to chess and rock paper scissors. Overall, I enjoyed my time with the show. I feel I could expand more, but there is a bunch to talk about, so I'll leave my opinions at that. 9 out of 10. A fun new take on this series. Damn, they must have actually tried with that amount of exclamation marks. Bang Dream It's My Go sees Anon, this pink-haired girl, get involved with members of the now defunct band known as Cryshik, creating a band with 3 of Cryshik's members. What is this band's name? I'm about to look it up, as I haven't said it in any of the episodes that I've watched. I know, how dare I review shows I haven't finished? It's not like I have a schedule for these videos I have to meet or anything. So, the band's name is My Go, and to have a go at Love Live, it's as stupid as the Nijigasaki idol group name. As I said earlier, members Tomori, who is on vocals, Soyo, who plays bass, and Taki, who is the band's drummer, were all in Cryshik, which is gone, but a main story element. No need to dwell. Anon is basically useless, playing backup guitar, and on the wiki under instruments is listed as ESP Ultratone Anon Custom. Like guys, keep it to guitar, please. Makes my life so much easier. And the final member is this. I was not a fan of Rana's character. She enjoys playing with interesting girls. What fits this definition? I don't know, but she disappears at least twice, if that's any indication. Story-wise, this is the most intact I've seen for Bang Dream. And hey, I've had some long car trips recently, so I've played the game a bit too, and it's fun, but this isn't about that. I would like to see more bands introduced into the shows. I get they announced a new band at the end of the show, but I mean, what the f*** is a Morphonica? I guess I'll just have to keep watching to find out. 8 out of 10. A Tale of Fire and Water. This show isn't good. Ayaka, a story of bonds and wounds, sees preschooler Futaro and grown-up Deku meet up after being separated as children. Wait, I'm getting a call. They have names? They're named Yukito and Jingi? Yeah, but did I ask? This show sucks anyways. Geez, the phone could be awfully busy some days. Anyway, Ayaka follows a predictable plot where Yukito is brought back to the island, then has to save it, with it being revealed that he has some special unknown powers. Visually, it suffices, and audibly, it is up to standard, but I don't think this show was needed. Not much else to say. 6 out of 10. A fun new adventure awaits. The Vending Machine anime. It was different. Putting all my confusion aside, it was both better and worse than what I had originally thought. It follows this vending machine which locals call Boxo. We can hear Boxo's full thoughts in English, or Japanese I guess, where he talks about the intent behind his actions, only communicating to other characters through irashaimasu and mo ippon, aka vending machine type phrases. He mainly travels alongside these 2 girls who treat Boxo uniquely. The first is Lamas, who finds Boxo and is really strong, and the second is Hulami, who is more brainy and the first to figure out Boxo's character beyond the appearance. The show is set in an RPG environment, with talent levels being a thing that exists, but for the majority of the runtime doesn't play much effect. What does though is comedy. The comedy the show uses is very shock orientated, as in stuff that you wouldn't expect to happen, which personally, whilst comedy is subjective, this definitely loses its effect over time. An example would be Konosuba. I hate that show's humor, as how it constructs its humor and tries to be unpredictable makes it predictable. As for this show, I don't have a strong distaste for it as of yet, due to not having the high bar of expectations, only as going far as to reference women's periods. Never a sentence I thought I'd utter. I do think if the trend continues and the show gets picked up for more seasons, however, the humor may be beyond me. I mean, it's not like I especially like the humor that was used anyway though. My final message for the show: please stop making isekais. 6 out of 10. That is all the new announcements for today. Now some updates on some existing series. The sequel to Owarimonogatari, it shows some cool new story elements, though it doesn't really show us too much. But hey, Dad does come back for the milk, so I'll give it that. 7 out of 10. Hey, Bleach, I can finally talk about you. Finally, we are up to about Arc 4, where Aizen makes his second appearance, though he is now an enigma compared to him being a prominent character in the first few seasons. The story follows this new type of creature, which are part hollow, part soul reaper, which I can't find the name for online, so flame me in the comments for it. Anyway, these things are Aizen's army and sent to destroy Ichigo and the others. Or should I just say the others? Ichigo got invited to be a part of the Viscerates, which whilst he declines, he accepts the help to destroy / suppress his inner hollow, being stuck there training for much of the season. And if the season has any weakness, that's it. With the lack of a main protagonist, we instead get a lot of Ichigo's dad, Ishida's dad, and Urahara sharing the reins, with an odd Ichigo scene in between. It works, and it's definitely more entertaining than the Bount arc, but you know, the opening was sung by a teddy bear, so like 8 out of 10. Normally, Jojo's is a headlining show, but with all the romance and news shows, it found itself demoted from headliner to last on the list. Part 3 sees Jotaro and his crew, Joseph, Kakyoin, Abdul, and Polnareff, travel to Egypt to take on the threat of Dio, which aside from Joseph, is the only character to show his face in every part. The idea of stands are introduced, which can be best explained as a spiritual fighter which is gifted to certain people, each having widely different capabilities. The road to Egypt is long and drawn out, with Jojo and his friends taking on a variety of different enemies and situations. I like the music this time around, with both opening and ending tracks being nice to listen to, even 35,000 odd feet in the air. Each character also adds something to the cast this time around too, with the experienced traveller in Joseph, experienced stand user in Abdul, and the other two which both used to associate with Dio. The season was alright. I think it was fairly entertaining and very watchable, as I normally get a lot of series fatigue when watching heaps of the same series, but it really didn't affect me when watching this, though it also wasn't the amount of entertainment and plot movement which the previous parts had. My final thoughts being this: the art style was similar and the season ends on kind of a nothing note, with it to be continued in part 2 of part 3. With that being said, part 1 of part 3 of Jojo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders gets a 7 out of 10. God, I hate anime titles. Hi! We've almost reached the end of the presentation, but first, personally, I want to thank everyone. It was kind of fun to try and spoof the Nintendo Direct for this video. It's probably a bit too much work-wise to do it every month, but it shows that I can forever improve the format to make it more watchable for you. As always, I appreciate all who make it through to the end. I'd appreciate subscribing and checking out my socials, as it helps me a lot. Either way, in classic Nintendo Direct fashion, we have one last announcement, so please take a look.